This is John Paul Rye. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan, and Johnny Depp's lawyer, Adam Waldman, once again is tweeting out like crazy. He's very concentrated on the police officer witnesses that were called in when Amber Heard said that Johnny abused her. Now, before I start this video, I want to say that this case has been going on for a long time, and some things that I've been against here online have been going on for a long time, and sometimes it gets a little tiring, and sometimes it kind of gets off your radar. Even if you mean well, even if you love Johnny Depp, it's tiring day in and day out. But the thing about Adam Waldman is he's just staying on it. He's not giving up. Obviously, he's Johnny's lawyer. It's his job, but he doesn't have to point out all these things on social media and make all these points outside of the actual case and what he's doing for his job. So he's really a fighter here, and that's definitely something to keep in mind and something that you could take away from what he's doing. So this tweet here is from April 9th, 2021, although I kind of cropped out the date by accident. It's pretty new, and it says LAPD officer Melissa Sanez, if I'm saying that right, testified in front of Justice Nichols in UK High Court about the post-apocalyptic messy crime scene she and her partner encountered. I searched the entire flat and there was no damage and there was no broken glass, nothing out of the ordinary. So, obviously, Adam uses some sarcasm there, which is pretty nice to see. A good sense of humor is always a great thing. And of course, the important thing to drive home here, and to keep driving home here, is that Judge Nichols kind of ignored or didn't take very seriously, as far as his verdict, a police officer's sworn testimony. And here, Adam clips out the exact quote where the police officer says that I searched the entire flat and there was no damage and there was no broken glass, there was nothing to report and nothing out of the ordinary. Very clear, very cut and dry, nothing to read into, no hints going on. It's really, in plain English, out in the open. And how any judge could sit there and be like, okay, I guess, the police officer saw actually the opposite of what Amber said, and not consider that with the verdict is really out of the ordinary. It's really out of reality, so to speak. Unless, of course, maybe his mind was made up before the case. Just my silly little opinion. And a few people share that opinion as well, I'm assuming. Well, I know. There's another one. Officer Sanez's testimony was so destructive to Amber Heard's and her friend's picturesque tale of injury and destruction, Sun called off the testimony of the other LAPD officer, Hayden, who they had subpoenaed and who had been waiting since 4 a.m. to testify. Judge Nichols, right. So, I guess the Sun was going to try to bring in an officer to tell a different story, and they canceled it. Looks like a little sloppy on their part over there. So this here's a discussion with Miss Wass and Justice Nichol, and of course, this is old. We've known this stuff. But Adam Waldman is not letting up. He just keeps going, and he'll keep going. He takes breaks. I've seen him take a month off of Twitter, but now he's back, and I can't even keep up. Well, I'm moving slow. I'm moving at one video a day, but even still, I can't quite keep up. We'll get back to that. Okay, so she says, my lord, there is another officer due to give evidence. Given the answers of this officer, I do not anymore require him to give evidence. Is that Officer Haddon? Miss Sanez was domestic... One more time on that. Miss Sanez was the domestic violence trained officer. The other one was a probation officer. Judge Nichols says, right. Could I ask that be communicated to Officer Hayden? It might be easier if I just rise for a few minutes while that is done. And here, I don't think I quite covered this in this channel, but, Miss Wass's tactics are really lowly. She kind of asked the police officer, like, are you sure you got a good look at Amber's face? Are you sure you looked right at her? Like, no shit. The police officer looked at Amber Heard's face. What are people supposed to think who are listening to that? Like, the officer's going to be like, no, I didn't. No, you're right, Miss Wass. You got me under testimony. I wasn't looking at Amber's face when I was called to examine her face on a domestic abuse account. Silly me. What was I doing? And she asked if the officer saw Amber upset. These kind of things really seems like child's play to me. It seems like a really, really trashy way to ask somebody something. And the only way that the judge would be sitting there, thinking, wow, Miss Wass is doing a good job, is if he had, like I said before, probably decided beforehand that she was doing a good job. You guys, of course, let me know what you think down below. Gonna cover Adam Waldman as I can, probably at least another video or two this week about him. Like I said, going at a slow pace, about a video a day, which is not very slow by all means, but for what I'm used to, slowed down a little bit. But as soon as I can, try to get back to 2 a day. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. I'm doing Depp vs. Heard, pop culture, Meghan Markle, whatever comes up in the news. It's interesting. If you don't subscribe, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.